program do not necessarily reflect or represent those of the owners, management, or advertisers of Pacific Telestations, Inc. This message has been brought to you by the stations of KUAM.
You're watching Buzz with Jess Lujan.
Good evening, Guam. I'm Jess Lujan. Exciting show tonight. Former Senator Sonny Orsini, now the co-owner of Asu Smokehouse down at the Chamorro Village. I'm glad to have him on my TV show tonight. He was on my radio show 2 weeks ago. Good evening, Primo. How you doing, man?
Good. Thank you very much for having me on your other show, Prim.
Yeah, well, you know, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, and again, as two formers,
right?
Two formers.
Right.
What are we doing now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, you know, a couple of weeks ago, you made the news. Basically, actually, you folks down at Chamorro Village, right, okay, made the news in regards to the possibility of having the fee increases, and we're not talking about the I guess the set increases that you normally would be again prepared for, you know, as a built-in thing, you know, with that. It was an enormous fee that was going to go up. First of all, before we do that, from what I've known about the Chamorro Village since its inception, it was an incubator for businesses to start up, get them on their feet. Once they get them on their feet and they'll be able to be rooted and pretty sturdy, then again, then they may be able to go out to other places, find commercial real estate, and get in there, and then make room for other businesses to come in who were a startup business as well. Now, the incubator situation, is it still around? I mean, is that what you guys, the intention of that was still there? Yeah.
Well, yes, the intention is still there, at least that, you know, from what I understand. And it's supposed to actually, you know, kind of help kickstart local businesses specifically. Okay. And hopefully from there, you get rooted, as you said, and then once you build, you know, you build yourself up sufficiently, you know, economy of scale, your production levels, that you're able to actually, you know, wean yourself away from the village and get, you know, full-fledged commercial, you know, real property. Right? And so I believe that is still the intent, as it was 20 plus years ago. The issue, though, Jesse, is the fact that we had very little, the merchants had little, if any, heads up, and then zero input on the increase. And the increase wasn't just the, you know, the 2 or 3 or even 5% annual increase. It was actually 3 to 4 times the current monthly rent rate. So it's not just an increase, but what was told for the first time they're going to include it was a common area. The common area far exceeded our current rent rate, which is about they're pegging it about $830. Our rent is about $650 some dollars and some change. Right.
So basically, you're going. I mean, so when I'm looking at this, and as an incubator, again, if they haven't changed the concept of an incubator, when you look at that, it's a entity to help start up businesses. Okay. Now, also in regards to rent, now there are other things that an incubator falls into, but in regards to rent, normally entities that run incubators, they go below market rate in regards to rent. And basically, that's what you guys had signed up for. And if I'm not mistaken, folks who are wanting to be at the Chamorro Village and sign up for that, basically, you are also working with the services of the University of Guam, the Small Business Development.
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. So part of the incubator program includes the Small Business Development Center, which is housed in the Leon Guerrero College of Business at the University of Guam. And so what they essentially do with people such as myself who apply to the Chamorro Village Management Office is they help to formulate, help to craft, help to figure out your numbers. And so it's the business plan process of any small business, right? And an important aspect of the business plan, Prim, you're a businessman, an important line item issue on the business plan happens to be rent, first and foremost. So SBDC says, okay, this is the number you're working with, and of course it's coming from the management of the Chamorro Village. So based on those numbers, my application and everyone else's application who are merchants currently at the village were all approved based on those numbers. So now with the proposed increase, as we've been informed, Primo, the problem there is the numbers are 3 to 4 times. So it really throws our whole budgetary projections and the plan that we're working with really out of the water.
Well, not only out of the water, it blows you out of the village, basically.
It essentially does.
I mean, I was down at your place today, and I looked in there, and I wanted to, because I knew what 200 square foot looked like. I just wanted to make sure. So I looked in there again, you know, and you have your equipment there and all that, and I go, this is a true example of two's company, three's a crowd, you know, in your place, right?
Exactly.
In your place. When I look in there and I look in your square foot, you got 200 square foot facility there, and then if you're going to pay for common area fee, when you put all those things together, you have to come up with basically, you're going to be paying, basically, if the implementation of the new rate, you're going to be paying close to $8 a square foot.
Possibly even more.
Even more.
Possibly even more. My understanding, Prim, is this, that the management has pretty much taken the 4 acres of the entire footprint of the village. And in aggregate, they divvied up that by the number of merchants. So it's not just the common area. My understanding is not just it's the entire footprint. So I don't know how they went about doing that, but that's essentially what we've been told they're doing. And if that is the case, as you mentioned right now, those numbers, $8, possibly $10, $11
a square foot.
A square foot is even far higher than Tumon prices.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, even roadfront.
Yeah, even the roadfront.
I mean, and I'm saying so. This really again surpasses the incubator situation. I mean, I can understand if it's $10 a square foot, and really down there in everywhere it's going 500 a square foot, right? I can understand that that is our version of incubator, right? But if we're looking at that, and even again, at this point, it's not going for that much.
No. And the thing, the point here is what we've been told, and I know they've informed you as well, is that, hey, Jesse, Sonny, this is what the management's planning to do, is essentially they want to start enforcing the, I guess, the rules and regs from 20 years ago. But if they're going to do that, the current rate that everyone is paying, including myself and everyone else, the current rate is based on 1996 appraisal of Hagatnya. Now, there hasn't been a current appraisal today.
Well, didn't they just reappraise all of Guam? I mean, that's what we're...
Yeah, they've done that, but they haven't applied the current appraisal rate of Hagatnya to the village.
To the village.
And if they have, they will see that there has been a slight market correction. A downward, correction compared to 1996. Today versus 1996 would be cheaper, but that hasn't been applied, not to my knowledge. So if we're going to be paying based on those numbers, it would have been much cheaper today than
it was in 1996, 1997. Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, I mean, the confusing part about this then is how do they come about with these numbers? And now, I mean, it's this. I mean, I've run into people before who have businesses and have maybe for one reason or another, you know, they at one time had a lot of money and then here it's gone, right? And so they're wanting to try to resurge their business, right? So now the services that they provide, they're trying to make up for all the money that they have lost on 1 or 2 clients now. And so they're overcharging the clients to pay back what was won. So basically what they're trying to say is that, well, Sonny, you've been with us now for a couple of years, right? Yeah. And so because it hasn't been enforced in years back, I'm sorry, but you're here right now. We're going to enforce this, and you're going to have to pay back for the past ills.
Right. That's the way it seems. I believe it's the sentiment of all the merchants, right? That we're essentially, the current merchants right now is essentially, you know, being, you know, punished for the ills of the past.
Sure, sure.
And we feel that it is really wrong of them to try to balance the shortfall that has been, I guess, enumerated in the most recent report.
Sure.
I believe it's the OPA report.
Yeah.
And the findings that there's a massive shortfall, almost to the tune of $1 million, right?
Sure.
And we feel that the merchants are feeling that, okay, I guess the shortfall is trying to be, they're attempting to balance the shortfall on the merchant's backs, which is very, very, wrong.
And you guys are not against, again, a reasonable increase because you are prepared for that. I mean, you guys are prepared on an annual basis in your budget, even in your preparation through the SBDC. That this is, you have to plan for this.
Absolutely,
you definitely have to plan for this. So you guys, but at this point, it blows everybody out. They're probably. You might have a couple survivors if this is implemented, but the majority, if not 95%, you're going to have basically a ghost town of a Chamorro village if the current rate, as we're discussing at this point, is implemented. Yeah. Absolutely.
And the reason being is this: as we are most aware of, particularly business people, just this January we had. What happened, Prim? We had the implementation of the increase of the minimum wage.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So what that has happened, what the effect of that to a business like mine was we went from, 9, 10 strong employees, we're down to about 6 to 7 today. So we've let go of people. They mentioned that the increase of the minimum is going to be good for everyone because it's going to create more jobs, and people are going to have more, purchasing power. I have not seen that because those individuals we've let go, and we regret so because it's a matter of business.
Yeah.
We can't afford that. On top of that, for also specifically anyone dealing with meats and as much meats as we deal with, we were grappled with the global skyrocketing of the cost of meats, beef in particular.
Sure.
So we had a double whammy, Prim, and then on top of that, 6 months later, now the management says we need to take a look at what you're paying, and they're saying to us, ASU and whoever else, the other merchants, that we're losing $10,000 a year, because you're not paying that when you ought to, and we're like, okay, if you want us to pay that exorbitant amount, Prim, let us know exactly where the money's going, who you're hiring, and if there's a marketing going on, we'd like to know, what forms of marketing are you doing, because according to the statute, there's only one position that's actually identified. Even the manager's position can be obliterated. This from being in the legislature. There's really only one position, and that one position happens to be the marketing coordinator, right, of the village. So really, anyone else can be let go of, but that marketing person is key. And that's the lifeblood of the village, right?
Of course.
So our thing is, we want to see a full disclosure. It's a public agency. So we want to see where the money's going and where it has gone and where they intend to I guess spend the increases based on these proposed rate hikes.
Sure. I got to take a quick break. We're going to pay some bills, but when you talk about minimum wage and how it basically affected your business, welcome to the Republican Party. It was a Democrat. It was Democrats that wanted to do that. Anyway, absolutely. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with former Senator Sonny Orsini.